Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the owner and founder of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and today I want to talk a little bit about guilt and shame and the fearful avoidant attachment style. So fearful avoidants often experience a tremendous amount of shame, and this is actually usually related to trauma to a certain degree. The reason for this is that whenever we have a traumatic imprint, as the fearful avoidant often does, have at least one, if not quite a few traumatic imprints, we'll sort of have this unconscious coping mechanism that becomes deeply wired in response to a traumatic imprint, and it will become a coping mechanism that often repeats itself. So for example, let's say as a young child, you experience a lot of distrust towards both of your parents because maybe one is a drug addict and maybe the other is completely emotionally unavailable, or there's lots of chaos, lots of fighting in the home. Well, what happens is your brain responds to this, and your brain is very much wired for survival. So your brain might do something like, hey, we're not safe around our caregivers, and we have to remember to not trust our caregivers. And we often project our relationship to our caregivers in early childhood onto our relationship with the world and all other people, especially our romantic relationships in our adult lives. So if we have this belief system as a result of trauma that says we can't trust people, we're not safe around people, then the brain will come up with a subconscious strategy basically to cope with this and to remember this, and basically to not achieve this, but to practice this in our exchanges in our exchanges with other individuals. So this might look like, pushing people away when we're hurt by lashing out. And all that happens after this is we experience a lot of guilt and shame, because there will always be an aspect of ourselves that's completely wired for attachment and does not want to push people away that we care about or people that we love. So we'll have this war basically as the fearful avoidant around guilt and shameful experiences, because there will be an aspect of self that judges ourselves for going against part of ourselves. We want love, we want connection, we want to be in a relationship and have, security and comfort and love and romance, and yet why are we pushing this person away? And I can't tell you how often I see this with the fearful avoidant attachment style, where they will be in a close relationship and they'll do things like lash out at their partner, and this could be lashing out with words, this could be lashing out with actions, this could be lashing out with pushing the person away very quickly, all of a sudden. They can be sort of a very different series of things dependent on the individual. But after we do that, oftentimes there will be this sort of regret or this shame. Oh, why do we keep doing that? Why do we keep hurting the person that we love or that we care about? So here's what's actually going on, and here's what you can do about it. So number one, you need to know that basically every single thing that we do is because consciously plus subconsciously we perceive more benefits than drawbacks to that behavior, okay, or to that choice. So what that really means is that everything that we do, we basically have a subconscious positive intention for it. And this is going to be built into our wiring. This may not be something that at a conscious level we think is positive, but at a subconscious level we might go, okay, hey, this works. When we push away other people, even if it hurts to a certain degree, we're at least not going to allow ourselves to re-experience the level and degree of pain and trauma that we experienced all the way back in childhood. So consciously plus subconsciously, even though an aspect of your conscious self says, no, I want to connect, I want to be in a healthy relationship, there might be more aspects of your subconscious that says, no, you don't, because it's not safe. Okay? So every decision we make, and this goes for all attachment styles, all people, is based on consciously plus subconsciously, we see more good than bad. So basically every decision we ever make is because we think that there's something positive behind it. Even the decisions that we think are ludicrous. Why did I do that thing last week? Or, why can't I just sit down and do my work? Why do we keep procrastinating? What's wrong with me? All of these things are just subconscious strategies to get different needs met. Okay. So back on track, because I sort of went on a tangent there. Let's use a really specific example. So let's say that you're the fearful avoidant, and let's say that you keep falling into a pattern or cycle of lashing out towards your partner with words. So let's say when they get too close and you feel a little bit afraid, and then they do something that's slightly triggering, or there's a very tiny incongruency, and you think, oh, I can't trust this person, they're going to hurt me like my parents. And that won't necessarily be a super conscious thought process. It will more be an emotional feeling related to subconscious interpretations that are stored there from a very long time ago. So let's say you do that, and you think that way, oh my goodness, they're getting too close, and I'm not sure if I can completely trust them. And let's say they come home that day and they're 5 minutes late. And let's say you just lash out and you go, I know that I can't trust you, and I don't care about you, and I can't be in this relationship. I can't stay here anymore. You disgust me. Like, let's say you say really painful, hurtful things with words, okay? Well, what you want to be able to do after the fact, I mean, hopefully you do this proactively after watching this video, but let's say that you've just done this in the past. What you want to be able to do is first slow down and ask yourself, okay, what need am I trying to meet here? Okay, so it needs to be really specific. It might be some kind of need for validation. You push the person away, then you want to see if they still love you and care and will try to work things out for you. It might be a need for protection. I can't fully trust them and they're getting too close, and I need to distance myself because I don't want to be hurt like I was in childhood. It might be a need for emotional connection. Maybe you're feeling disconnected and you don't know how to engage them in a different way. So, you have a subconscious comfort zone that says, let's fight. And when we're fighting, we're really emotionally connected. Our emotions are high. We're both present. We're both super into what we're saying and doing. And maybe we'll make up after and it'll feel good. And we're trying to seek that high. It can be for any set of different needs. You want to investigate personally and ask yourself, okay, what need am I personally trying to meet in this situation that I keep repeating, this pattern I keep repeating, that I then feel guilt and shame for afterwards, okay? So number one, find the need that's trying to be met. Now, once you've made the subconscious need conscious, now you're really empowered, because now you can create a strategy to find a way to get this need met in a healthier way. So I call this updated strategies. I call these updated strategies. So for example, let's say that the need that you're specifically trying to meet is for connection. Let's say you try to bicker with your partner or pick a fight or cause, little problems or lash out a little bit when you're feeling emotionally disengaged. You're feeling like you're not getting enough emotional connection and presence from your partner. So once you have the awareness of that, now the next time you feel the need to start picking a fight or bickering, you have your conscious mind on board, witnessing the subconscious process about to happen. And when you feel those feelings, or you feel that seductive, pull to lash out or bicker, instead, you can just look at it and go, hey, I'm feeling a little bit disconnected. Can we sit down and have a chat? Can we catch up about life? Can we share some more of our feelings about, our day and how things are going? Can we ask each other some deep questions? There's so many different ways to which you can we go and do something together? Can we, validate each other in some kind of beautiful way where we say something we appreciate about one another? Like, there's so many different options available once you've made the subconscious need conscious. Okay, so just as a review, when you have guilt and shame, but you keep repeating a pattern, it means that there's a subconscious need being met in there. You want to find what that need is that's being met. Ask yourself that question. Then once you're aware of it, and you're aware of, that pattern or that tendency, and when you see it coming up, you have to have a conscious strategy ahead of time that is a more effective or healthy, updated strategy to get that need met, okay? And then commit to creating change. So if this is you, if you're the fearful avoidant, you want to commit to this process, even if it feels vulnerable in the moment that you ask for validation or you ask for connection or whatever it might be. Keep in mind, what does it cost me to keep repeating this old pattern? Actually take a look. And you're actually equilibrating associations a little bit when you do that. When you look at the negatives, you're basically holding them next to the stored subconscious positives, and this helps to balance them out. So because our brain, neuroscience has proven every single decision we make is actually emotionally based. Even if we think that we're really logical or rational, really at the tipping point, we're still making emotionally based decisions, every single one of us, which we're then just really quick to rationalize or justify through logic. So if you have a lot of stored emotional positives, like I really need to protect myself and I need to feel safe and comfortable, and so if that person's too close, I have to hurt them or push them away. If you've got all these stored positives that are pretty deep rooted, in your subconscious, you want to hold them next to the negatives. What does it cost me to keep doing this? Am I actually even safe? Am I actually even creating more comfort and safety in my life? You want to question those things because you're balancing out the stored associations there. And then you want to, so once you've done that, you can go through all areas of your life. You can ask yourself, okay, where do I have self-sabotage patterns in all areas, not just in relationships? And then ask yourself specifically, okay, what needs am I trying to get met through these patterns that keep repeating themselves? And how can I find a healthier or updated strategy to get this need met without having to go through all of that chaos? And then you want to practice committing to these things. The subconscious is wired through repetition plus emotion. So when you start repeating new patterns in the place of old ones, you're actually also reprogramming your subconscious at the same time, which means at a point, these patterns will stop repeating themselves naturally. You won't even have to practice or commit to it. You'll just have new, healthier, updated strategies in place. So this is one way. I will go into, there's so many different ways to equilibrate guilt and shame. This was more how to deal with patterns that are causing you guilt and shame. So I'll create some later videos about actually equilibrating guilt and shame after an experience itself. But I hope this was helpful. If you're receiving a lot of value out of these videos, please like them, share them. Please subscribe to my channel, and please visit www.personaldevelopmentschool.com.